Well, hi there. My name is Bishop John Keenan, and I'm the Bishop of Paisley in Scotland. And I'm going to read for you one of my favourite stories from this wonderful book, God Speaks to His Children. And that's the story of when God called Moses. Moses was herding his flock in the wilderness, and he came to Sinai, which is the mountain of God. There he saw a thorn bush. It was burning, and yet it was not being burned up. Filled with curiosity, Moses drew nearer. Then he heard a voice. "Moses, Moses, I'm the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Hearing this, Moses covered his face. He was afraid to look at God. But God spoke to him. "I've seen how my people are maltreated in Egypt. I've heard their cries. I know their sufferings. And so I am sending you to Pharaoh. You are to lead my people out of Egypt." Moses answered, "Who am I to go to Pharaoh and give him orders?" But God said, "I shall be with you." But Moses had another objection. "The Israelites will not believe me if I tell them, 'The God of our fathers has sent me to you.' They will ask me, 'Tell us his name.' What answer shall I give them?" God said, "I am who am. That is my name for all time." But Moses still did not want to obey God's command. He said, "I'm a poor speaker." Then God replied, "Just go. I'll tell you what to say." "Please," said someone else, protested Moses. But God had chosen Moses. Moses returned with his family to Egypt. His brother Aaron came to meet him, and together they summoned all the fathers of the Israelite families. Moses told them what God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had commanded him to do. The Israelites learned that God wanted to put an end to their distress. They put their trust in Him and worshipped Him. The word of the Lord. Well, that's not just one of my favourite stories in the Bible, it's also one of the most important one. We can think of ourselves like Moses, where Moses was out tending his sheep in the wilderness. He was just going about his daily business, minding his own business, not interfering with anyone else. Then his attention is caught. A burning bush catches his eyes. Nothing strange about a burning bush, but this one is burning and burning and burning for minutes and minutes and hours even, and it's not going out. So Moses is curious. He says, "I want to go and see this. Something's not right there." And then as he approaches the bush starts to talk to him. That's something really not right there. But then he realised it's not the bush talking to him, it's God talking to him. God says, "Listen, Moses, I've got a job for you to do. I want you to do something for me. That King Pharaoh, he's been really mean to my people, and I want you to go and tell him, stop being mean and leave my people alone." Moses was afraid. He just wanted to go back and mind his business with his sheep. And he said, "Oh, don't send me. I'm afraid." "Why are you afraid?" "Well, because Pharaoh is big and powerful. He might start being bad to me. And not only that, I'm not very good at that sort of thing. I don't know how to speak or to put an argument. And actually, I've got a little bit of a stammer." God said to him, "Moses, don't worry at all. I'm not just sending you on your own. We're going to do this as a team. I'll do my bit, but you've got to do your bit, and it's going to turn out fine. And if you don't know how to speak, I'm going to send your brother Aaron, and he'll help you. He'll speak all the words that you want to say. And if Pharaoh won't believe you, I'll send signs and wonders so that he's going to have to believe you, and it'll all work out. Well, in the end, we know that Moses did his bit. He had faith and he was courageous and brave, and God did his bit by sending him friends to help him and signs and wonders, and it all worked out and the people were able to go free. Well, that reminds me of a story when I was your age, and my dad wanted to teach me to swim. My big brothers could already swim, so we went along to the swimming baths, and I was afraid I didn't like water. But my brothers were sitting at the side, and my dad took me into the shallow end, and he held his arms underneath my body, and he said, "Don't worry, I'll hold you." And my brothers were at the side going, come on, John, you can do it." And my dad said, "But John, you've got to do something yourself. You've got to flap your arms and flap your legs, and you do your bit, I'll do my bit." And your brothers are urging you on. And you know, after a little while, I began to swim, and I got to the other side, a team all doing our own bit, and I learned to swim. Well, that's like it with our faith as well. God asks us to do things, but he doesn't leave us alone. We do them as a team, ourselves, friends that God sends our way, and surprises. He works so that people know that what we're doing is right and what we're doing is from God, and then it all works out fine. So what can we talk about today with our mums and dads, with our grandparents, with our brothers and sisters? Well, I think a couple of things we could think about. First of all, in the house, in your school, what kind of things are you responsible for? What kind of things are you responsible for to make sure things are right and nothing's wrong? Maybe we could think about what we're responsible for in the house, what we're responsible for in the school, even though we're just young. Then maybe we could think about, well, if God wants me to be responsible for these things, he's going to help me. So, how do we get God to help? How do we make sure we don't do it on our own? How do we make sure that we've got God in our lives to help us? What are the kind of ways where we bring God and his help into our lives? Then finally, God helps us. What are all the different ways in which God helps us? With Moses, he sent his brother to help him, and he sent lots of surprising things. What kind of things do you think God can do in his heaven to move things around a little bit so that we can get all the help we need? With us doing our bit, with God doing his bit, we can make sure that bad things stop happening, and all the good and lovely things that God wants in our homes, in our schools, in our world, in our young lives can really come about. God bless you, and have a lovely day.